mom texted me that she left her keys on the key hook, and I thought she locked herself out of her bar, but she was purposely leaving her keys ready.
Oh, what's that?
I was like, oh,
It's fun.
she's a lot. She's a lot. She's fun.
Well, it's always different octaves. You're a lot.
Yeah,
Good evening, everyone. Please rise for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Is this on back there? Good? Recognition. This is to advise those present at this meeting, the Board of Education of Pinelands Regional School District in the County of Ocean. The adequate notice of this meeting was provided in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act. The notice has been posted in the Board of Education office, junior high school, and high school buildings. The notice was also emailed or mailed to the Preston Atlantic City and filed with Municipal Clerk of Bass River Township, Eagleswood Township, Little Lake Harbor Township, and the Borough of Tuckerton. May I have a roll call, please?
Mrs. McVeigh?
Here.
Mr. Rossetti?
Here.
Ms. Papakua?
Yes, here.
Ms. Palladino will be marked absent this evening. Ms. Hannadel?
Here.
Mr. Bartlett?
Here.
Mr. Dowia?
Here. All right, moving on. I believe we discussed an executive, so the approval of the agenda. You wanna-
Sorry, Mr. Dowia, if
you
we
wanna
could, we need a motion to amend the agenda
Thank you.
to include new business item B1, a motion to deny the 4 grievances filed by the Pinelands Education Association as discussed in tonight's executive session. Can I have a motion to amend the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions?
All in favor of amending the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. That motion carries.
Thank you. So approval of July 13th, 2021 agenda. Can I have a motion? Full agenda.
So made. Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
All in favor of approving the modified agenda for tonight, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? That motion carries.
Approval of minutes. Recommend motion to approve the following minutes. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
All in favor of approving the minutes that are presented at tonight's meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions?
I will abstain. I was not in attendance.
It's noted, thank you. My motion carries.
All right, moving on to report of the superintendent.
Thank you. So first and foremost, welcome everyone. Happy summer. As you will see in front of you on a pink sheet of paper, I gave you copies of our mission and vision statement. I know there was a little bit of confusion. We have approved this when we did our strategic plan. So we've now had this for quite some time, and I wanted you to have a copy that you can keep with you. And I also have a poster up here. Thank you, Mr. Short, for making that for me. There's one here behind you, and then there's one on the chart over there. So that is our mission and vision statement that was developed when we did strategic planning, and the belief statement is there as well. So there's a copy for you. I would like to recognize one of our teachers that unfortunately passed recently, Miss Erin McGuire. She was our language arts teacher for over 20 years. She will be sadly missed, and our prayers go out to her and her family. Also, we lost a student recently, tragically, and I would like to send prayers and thoughts to his family as well. Our ASY and Summer Academy is going extremely well. We have spoken to some other local school districts for a junior high school in which other schools are having difficulty getting students to actually come. And our admin team, along with Ms. Sturber, who's helping out with the program, just are doing such a great job motivating kids. They got these cool t-shirts. They're getting breakfast and lunch every day, and most importantly, they're in classrooms learning, so it's going very well. We have about 95% attendance every day, so we're really pleased with that. We will have our goal setting as a board with our admin team on August 4th at 4 o'clock. So we look forward to sharing some data and creating some plans for the upcoming school year. A couple parents have asked about the restart plan. Something came out from the DOE, basically just some suggestions for our reopening plan that would provide conditions of learning, improve equitable access for all students, provide content and learning focuses, and implement a K-12 accelerated learning cycle to identify gaps. And along with our new position that's going to be approved, that's coming out of ESSER monies, we are confident that we have developed plans moving forward to identify needs of all of our students. In terms of mask wearing for the fall, it will be optional. If a student, staff member, or a parent wishes their child to wear their mask, they are welcome to do that, but it will be optional for the fall. Virtual is not going to be an option. So we want our students back in the building. That's where they learn best. Of course, if there's some extreme medical situation, they can fill out some paperwork with Ms. Kenny, our Director of Guidance. They're going to go through a series of assessments and discussions to see if they do qualify. And as I said, we want the students back in the building. So that's going to be few and far between. And then lastly, I would like to recognize once again the amazing Miss Nooner, who received the JAG National Award again for the second year in a row. And in case anyone in the public doesn't know, JAGS is Jobs for Americans Graduates, and Ms. Nooner has not only helped develop this program, but she has expanded it so much. And these really are identifying our students that may not be college bound, that may need that skill to go into the workforce or the military, or even go on a job interview. You know, and if they're going to college, then wonderful, they have these skills to go with them. But she's really done a phenomenal job, and we're so lucky to have you. So thank you so much. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to board work session. Board forum?
Presentations?
Oh, that was a presentation, right?
No, that was my update. There's a
Oh,
presentation.
I thought you stole my, I thought you jumped in down there. Thank you. So now we'll do Ms. Maureen Nooner. This is the plaque presentation. My apologies.
Do they need a microphone? Jimmy has one for you.
I think first what we would do is like to present to Ms. Sharonda Shepard from Ocean Inc. Ocean Inc. Works very closely with our students at JAG. They come in and visit with them, and they talk to them about different opportunities and different services that Ocean Inc. supplies to families, especially to the families of our students and things like that. But they're very generous, and they gave us a $5,000 donation this year to buy Chromebooks for our students to take with them, especially the seniors that were going out into, you know, the workforce or into college, or, you know, just whatever that they were doing. So it made the life a lot easier. You know, they were fast, they were great Chromebooks. So we really appreciate your support and your continued encouragement to our students and being there to be a lending hand to them and to their families. So thank you so much. Ms. Sharonda Shepard.
It's an honor on behalf of Chanel, our CEO, Wilkins, on behalf of Ocean Inc., our agency. It's a pleasure to work with you and support you in the JAG program. It's an honor, and we'll continue to support our students, our community, whether it's Chromebooks, whether it's pencils, pens, anything. We're here to help the community, and if we can help, we're there to support everyone. Thank you.
And I just have a little presentation for you. Our JAG students participated in a career development conference competition at the end of the school year. It was in May. It's a competition between all the JAG programs in New Jersey. All the different students compete. And what we work on is we want to demonstrate different skills that we've learned throughout the year. And our students were very, very successful this year. I think also one of the reasons being is that we were in school much of the year, where a lot of our cohorts were not. They were remote for a good portion of the year. And I think because we were able to build, you know, the commitment and to the relationships and things like that, I think that was one of the reasons why our students did so well. So I just wanted to go over a little bit of how well they did and who the students were. And they have this conference every year. And this year it allows students to showcase skills that they've learned throughout the school year. So we just have some pictures here. SBYS was very great. They worked well with us, developing emotional skills and social skills. We have team building skills here where they built the pyramid, communication skills where they were leading each other down the hallway with blindfolds on to try to get them to be able to understand the communications. But these were just some of the skills that we did. So there were 6 competitions that were not live that they just judged, and the students prepared all these different presentations. And I'll go through each one of them. And there was also 5 that were live that they had to go through. We did not do the entrepreneurship, the Shark Tank one, and that was one of the reasons was because it was very hard to do remotely to get the kids together. The other one that we had was the public speaking. We were all set to go, but the girl that wanted to do it actually got hung up in an AP exam, so she wasn't able to compete that time, but she was ready to go and she would have done a great job. But everything else we competed in. So let me just show you. These were the students that did it. The career display, I'll show you. We have links to everything in there. It was, they presented information on a specific career path that they did. That was Elise Wasilkowski and Skylar Callahan. We did a banner. Those were the students, Mac Reagan, Damian Price, Kenley Pavola, Caitlin Levance, and Kaylee Johnson. And you'll see Miss Lacuter was a big help in the banner with us. They did a video competition. That was Joel Romero, Jared Olson, Cameron Woods. We did a career marketplace that emphasized our community service events, Courtney Burns and Tiffany Lombardi. We did a photo contest, and the theme this year was JAG Together We Rise. That was Alexandra Ellison that came up with that idea, and also the JAG presentation that kind of summarized everything that we did this year, which was Gabriella DeMoro, Chloe Hayek, and Mackenzie Hooray. So, as I said, I have all the links in here that you'd like to watch. This is actually the video presentation that she presented. So as you can see, I had to put in our little stickers. We got first place for, she picked to do a real estate agent, which is something that she'd like to do. And they went through, you know, the job outlook and what, you know, what it takes to be a real estate agent. So they were very impressed with that presentation that they did. This is a picture of our banner that we actually worked on, and like I said, Ms. Lacuter helped us to lay it out. The kids had the idea, but she helped us to get it together. And the kids came up with the saying, surviving through the obstacles, which I think was a great idea for this past year. We had a video competition, and they did a video about everything how JAG was important to them throughout the year. So again, the link is there for you to watch if anybody would like to take a look at that. They did a great job, they really did. The Career Marketplace, that's our career association, so those are all the community service things that we did. There's a picture of cards that we made for some of the nursing homes. We did the Thanksgiving food drive, we did the voter registration drive, and we were able to take first place in the video that the kids presented on that one as well. We also were in a photo contest, and that was the photo that Alexandra thought up, and we stood on the steps, Together We Rise, so we thought that was a great idea about how we could come together as a team, and we were rising through the obstacles. They took first place on that. The JAG presentation, they took first place in that one as well. They got together. Some of those are, the first picture there is we were working on social and emotional skills, how to breathe, so they were blowing bubbles and things like that. And then that was a Coast Guard presentation, so that just incorporated some of the things that we had. And then this was the live competitions that they did, so I'll just go through these with you. The creative problem solving, Haley Piasecki, Megan Jurich, Courtney Coleman, Ariel Moody, Mason Leiter, Jessica Reyes. And you can see from there, that was a live competition. So they got tossed out an idea. They had to come up, solve the problem, report back what their solutions were. The problem is how could you get food to the community without going through the school during COVID? So they had to come up with, so you couldn't get food out through the school. They had to come out with their own ideas. And some of the feedback we got was that our students had some ideas that nobody ever even thought about. So they really did a great job with that, and they took first place. Employability skills. This is Gabriella DeMoro. She actually was interviewed. So they gave her a little job description, and she had to go through a live interview, and she took first place. Amanda Feldman was terrific about helping her. She coached her. She helped her with her resume. She helped her with her cover letter. And Mrs. Bennett was wonderful. That's her background. She let us use her background for her, so we had a good background for the interview. So she took first place in that as well. Jeopardy Dollar Scholar, that was a financial literacy component. Sophia Jenke, Connor Woods, and Tricia McAllister, they took third place. I came to find out afterwards they were actually in first place at the end, but then, in Jeopardy you have to, how much you're going to bet. They didn't bet enough. So somebody else and Connor was the one that made the bet, and he said he wished he would have bet more, but so they did really well. They took third place in that. So I just want to have a big thank you, like I said, to everybody before the school board, and Karen and Gina and Mr. Henderson and all the teachers here. Everybody's just so supportive. If we need time to get the kids out of class, the other teachers are wonderful about that. They have great ideas. They're so supportive. So the saying is it takes a village, and Pinelands is a great village. They really are. The community and the school and everything. So it's not just me. It's everybody that puts into this. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to work session, board forum.
I was not here for the June meeting, so I just wanted to take a few minutes to thank both you, Mr. Dalio. Am I on?
I don't know.
No, please.
Yeah, you're on.
Okay.
To thank you for assuming the president's role.
Thank you.
Ms. McVeigh for
Thank
taking
you.
on the vice president responsibilities, and to thank our former board members for their time that they've served on the office.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, new business?
For new business, I recommend a motion to deny the 4 grievances filed by the Pinelands Education Association and discussed in tonight's executive session. Can I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Are there any questions? This is a roll call vote. Mrs. McVeigh?
Yes is to deny.
Yes, the vote is to deny the.
Yes.
the suggestion. Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Ms. Paklakua?
Yes.
Ms. Hannadel?
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett?
Abstain?
And Mr. Dowling?
Yes.
That motion carries.
Old business? I did send a email out. We have, August 4th, we have our board goal setting. So did you want to, how's the board feel about maybe doing a self-evaluation as part of it and have it ready for the 4th? Or we could take parts of it, because I know that the self-evaluation has a section in it where it does ask like importance of things in the district that are facing the district. I think there's 3 or 4 questions at the bottom. Any way the board wants to go with it, I'm fine. I just wanted to put it out there.
Complete that on the 4th?
Or
Or
by the 4th.
by the 4th?
So we can use that, and then we can take from it, and maybe it might help us when we're setting our goals.
Fine?
Do you actually need it in advance so that, do you see it automatically compiled, or is there a few days in that process where you
I
get
think
compiled?
same thing. I think it was easier to access the last year when I did it, but I will reach out to Mary Ann and find out if maybe she can do the same thing and just send it to the boards when it's completed.
Yep. Maybe just let us know.
I will.
Right, if we need to complete it maybe by August 1st or something.
I will.
if there's a
Okay.
specific date.
All right, I can move on to the BOG update. EA, please.
All right, the update on the BOG is fairly brief tonight. I just wanted to give the board and the public, the BOG committee that was formed, I believe, at the May meeting met on May 17th, and then again on June 3rd. The meeting on June 3rd included the outside members that the group, that were included in the group. The next meeting is Wednesday, July 28th at 3 p.m. That'll be a virtual meeting. And we also sent a letter to the Ocean County Commissioners requesting their assistance in bringing all the parties together to find a resolution for the bog. And the committee, or members of the committee, will be joining a group discussion on August 13th that was coordinated by the Jacques Cousteau National Estuarine Research Reserve and includes people from Soil District New Jersey, ducks.org, members of the New Jersey DEP, Ocean County Parks, and Little Lake Harbor Township were also invited. And the idea there is to engage with multiple organizations from around the community to see what everybody's feelings are on the bog and how we can move forward. I've also reached out to about a dozen different organizations. In our last meeting on June 3rd, we identified about, I think it was 12 organizations, like the Tuckerton Watershed, the Audubon Society, Ducks Unlimited. And I've reached out to them and asked them if they're interested in joining these efforts or being a part of that discussion. And so at the meeting on July 28th, I hope to have some updates from that outreach. And that's all I have on the bog for now. Are there any questions? All right, and I'll keep the mic here and give a quick feasibility update. We are anticipating the completed report by the end of the month for the feasibility study. They did say that there could be delayed by a couple of weeks, but they expect that we're going to have the completed report soon. So there's no new updates. We've supplied all the information we've had to supply as part of that. Now the team from Porzio is doing their work, and we will get that out to everybody as soon as it's available.
You say it was the end of July?
Yeah, that was the original timeline, and they've hedged to say there could be a couple weeks delay, but they anticipate to be pretty much on schedule with that.
And just to clarify, when you say we provide the information, you mean not only Pinelands, but all of the sending?
All the sending districts, that's correct.
Allowed in
We
that.
were given, from Porzio and their associates, we were given a list of requested information that included the long-range facility plans, tax information, just a lot of historical data based on the curriculum and finances for the school districts. Each district provided information to support the study. We've supplied all the information we've been asked to supply. Now it's in the professionals' hands to conduct the report.
Plus, David Hespy met with Eagleswood and Tuckerton and Pinelands.
And us, and Little Lake Harbor, yeah. Mr. Hespy was out. Steve Sia, who is he's a business administrator, who's also a representative of their firm. He came out, we did virtual meetings with Mr. Sia, but we've continued to provide information, and as it's come up and they've requested additional information, we send it along.
No, I wanted to clarify more so for the public. or
Yeah,
anyone that
absolutely.
might be listening, that it's not just us, we're kind of collaborating and all in it together.
Yeah, yep. All right, that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. Residents Forum, agenda items only. Board Policy 0167 encourages community participation in every meeting. However, the board requests that the public respect the reasonable time limit when commenting on agenda items. Open to the public. Not seeing no one.
Anyone online? We don't have.
We don't
people
do
calling
it.
in?
We don't do
They
that.
don't come in.
It's past COVID.
Yeah, we're doing regular meetings.
So committee reports. Recommend motion to approve the instructional items A1 through A4. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mrs. McVeigh,
Yes.
Mr. Dalio,
Yes.
Mr. Rossetti,
Yes.
Ms. Papakua,
Yes.
Ms. Hannadel,
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Personnel. Recommend motion to approve the following personnel item B1 through B28. May I have a motion?
Motion?
May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Yeah, we gotta scroll. All right, Mr. Rossetti,
Yes.
Ms. Papakua,
Yes.
Ms. Hannadel,
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett,
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh,
Yes, but I will abstain on B26.
your abstention's noted. Mr. Dalio,
Yes.
That motion carries.
Moving on to operations. Recommend motion to approve the following operations items C1 through C10. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Bartlett.
Yes.
Ms. Hannadel.
Yes.
Ms. Pakakua.
Yes.
Mr. Rossetti.
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh.
Yes.
And Mr. Dalio.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Report Board of Secretary. Recommend motion to approve the report of the Board Secretary, Business Administrator, items D1 through D12. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions?
Mr. Bartlett.
Yes.
Ms. Hannadel.
Yes.
Ms. Pakakua.
Yes, with the exception of item 8E, I will abstain.
Your abstention's noted. Mr. Rossetti.
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh.
Yes, and I will abstain on any bill that is a reference to shared services.
Okay. Mr. Dalio.
Yes.
That motion carries.
Mr. Brown, on number 12, informational items, you have, it's highlighted A and B, agreement with Broadway licensing and Pinelands experience agreement, but there's no motion on that? Is that just for information purposes only?
Yeah, they're informational items.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure.
Yep.
Moving on to second residence forum, general topics. Board Policy 0167 encourages community participation in every meeting. However, the board requests the public respect a reasonable time limit when commenting on any topic. We're open to the public. All right, seeing no one, we're going to be moving on to board candidate interviews. First up is Bass River.
So our first interview is going to be conducted via Zoom, and Jimmy's going to set up Ms. Gleghorn.
Hello.
Jenny, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep, we're loud and clear. Just hang on one sec. We're just going to get set up real quick. I would respectfully request that anyone else who's here for a board candidate interview, if you could excuse yourself just right outside until the other interviews have completed, and we'll call you in one by one. Thank you.
You can come right out here. There's like a table. We'll call you back in when it's your turn.
Do one last sound check. Can you hear us okay, Ms. Gleghorn?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Mr. Dahlia, do you want to take the lead on?
You could, yeah, well, we have, thank you for coming, thank you for your interest. We have 3 questions that we're asking each candidate. So,
Okay.
Mr. Brown, would you like to just continue with this?
Sure.
Makes it easier, one person.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, Casey has them right there.
Yeah, but I got it.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and what makes you a good fit for the Pinelands Regional Board of Education?
A little bit of background. I was born and raised in Little Egg Harbor Township. I live on Bridge Road. Grew up there. My mom was a school nurse at Pinelands. I attended there. I am the business administrator and municipal clerk for Tuckerton Borough. I've been employed there for 20 years. With that experience, I obviously do know some types about the administration of things. You were talking earlier about the log issue. I was sitting in on those meetings as well as the administrator for Tuckerton Borough, so I do have some familiarity with things that are going on in town. I do have 2 children. One is going into 10th grade, the other one is going into 8th grade. Both of them attend Pinelands. I'm a Pinelands graduate as well. Married, live in New Gretna, now. That's all I have for my background on that.
Great, thanks. And what are your goals as a member of the Board of Education?
My goals as a member of the Board of Education, one of the goals is to support what you guys have going on now. I understand with dealing with governing bodies, it's a difficult situation when you're dealing with outside agencies, meaning state of New Jersey rules and regulations. As much as sometimes people want us to change things or do things, your hands are really tied as a board member because of what state regulations allow you to do. And I understand that, and I hope that I could bring that to the table to work with some fellow public members that don't quite understand that as much as we want to change certain things, there's sometimes we really can't change a lot that is at hand, and we have to work with what we're dealt. And that's where my number one goal would be as of right now. After that, I don't really have a whole lot of goals because I've never been on a board of education before, but I'm willing to test it out and see where we go from there.
Great, thanks. And are you able to make the time commitment that's necessary to serve on the Board of Education?
Yes, as long as their meetings are on Tuesdays and not the first and third Monday of every month, yes, I can make the commitment, and I'm always available. Like I said, I work in the borough. 2 minutes from you guys, if I have to make a pop over to help with something, I'm always around. Don't go away.
Great. Were any members of the Board of Education have any questions for Ms. Glycord?
Yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely.
Just one question that I would also like to ask all of you is, do you have any conflicts that we should be aware of, whether it's family relations or relations with any of the staff at Pinelands? Any conflicts or anything like that?
Were you able to hear that question, Ms. Glycord?
She might not know what a conflict is, like, is she related to
I
anybody?
believe I was asked if I'm related to anybody that works for the Pinelands Regional School District. Is that correct?
Correct, yes, sorry.
Off the top of my head, I'm trying to think who works for anybody that works there. I don't believe I am. I am an Allen. That's my maiden name. I have really deep roots that go in Tuckerton and Little Egg Harbor Township. So I can't say that I, down the line, don't have any, but immediate family members, I don't believe I do.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah,
My
that's
mom's
fine.
retired.
No, that's okay. That's
But I don't think so.
That's fine, yeah, thank you.
Chetty,
And-
this is Betty Ann McVeigh. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
On that vein, even though you may call me Aunt Betty Ann once in a while, we shall clarify that we are not related.
We're not related.
Okay, thank
No,
you.
I am not related to Betty Ann.
Any other members of the board have any questions for Ms. Glycord?
Can I
And Ms.
ask
Glycord,
something?
do
Sorry
you?
about all right, I just wanted to say I'm sorry about my attire. I'm in Florida on vacation with my family. Normally I would be in somewhat decent, so I'm sorry about that. But thank
Totally
you
okay.
for letting me talk to you. I appreciate it.
We might have one more question, hang on.
Oh, okay, go ahead, sorry.
Hi, Jenny, it's Kim. I was just thinking,
Hi, Tim.
how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I'm just wondering if there's anything, anything that you're thinking from a Bass River perspective that you would like to bring to the board? Because you're there now. Because I know you're so much a Tuckerton person too, but.
Yeah. I've lived in Bass River now for 6 years. My kids did not attend Bass River Elementary School. My kids attended Tuckerton Elementary School. So on a Bass River level, I can't say that I want to cut anything or look at knocking down taxes right away. There's nothing that I have on that level. I just am there to support what Pinelands is and what Pinelands does, and come in with an open mind and see where we need help and where we don't need help. So I don't have anything specific for Bass River per se. I just know that I'd like to come in and have an open mind on what's going on there.
Perfect.
All right, thank you very much for your time tonight, Ms. Gleghorn. Enjoy the rest of vacation.
Thank you.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Yep, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Oh, well, that's why I'm writing it down.
You want to get a share for her off the next
We're gonna sit them right there on the.
Right there, Ann? Okay.
Yeah,
Sit next
Yep,
to
we're
Mrs.
good.
Canadell, right there, so we'll have a mic
Thank you, Jim.
for you, okay?
All right, our next candidate this evening is Miss Patty Martin. Welcome, Miss Martin.
Thank you.
All right, so we start off, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what makes you a good fit for the Pinelands Board of Education?
My background, I've lived in Bass River 21 years now. My daughter attended Bass River Elementary. Phenomenal school. Sorry to see it close, but absolutely understand that the right decisions were made. I think the kids are doing great in Little A. My daughter loved Bass River. I loved it. I was very, very much involved with the PTO. Made a lot of good friends. And let's see, I was with Wawa corporate for 24 years approximately. I then stayed home for a few years, and I've been back working as parish administrator at Church of the Holy Spirit in Tuckerton for almost 3 years now.
Okay, thank you. What are your goals as a member of the Board of Education?
I've been doing a lot of reading regarding what the roles and responsibilities are as a board member. I find it fascinating and absolutely 100% believe that the number one goal is to represent all of the students, not just students from Bass River. It's a large district. I also understand that there's rules and regulations that come from above, the state, the federal government, etc. I'm a rule follower when it comes to absolutely following protocol, but I also 100% stand by my values, believe that kids come first, not necessarily myself or anyone else. It's all about the students and what's best for them. And if I have to speak up and disagree with something, I absolutely would. Regarding, regardless if I'm breaking the rule or not, I would speak my mind.
Okay, thank you. Are you able to make the time commitment that's necessary to serve on the Board of Education?
Yes, I actually read that the average is between, I think it was 11 and all the way up to 50 hours per month. That's the average in New Jersey that some board members do. I don't know about the 50 per month, but definitely a few hours a week, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, and because we want to be consistent from, with each of the candidates, I'll ask you some of the other questions that were asked previously. Do you have any conflicts of interest that could impact your role as a board member?
I don't believe so. I don't have any relative that works in the district. I can honestly say I haven't met any of you before tonight except for you, Mr. Brown, when I met you for the desk at Bass River to borrow the desk.
That's right.
And I don't believe I've spoken to you, Dr. Cooley, but on email, because a few years back I did get fingerprinted to be a volunteer.
Yes.
But then I had an unfortunate accident and had to delay that, and then COVID hit, so I've never been able to be a volunteer. But I think you still have my fingerprints on file.
Oh, well, good.
If that program ever starts up again.
Good.
Right, and are you, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't believe any conflict at all. But I do have my nephew-in-law that works as a custodian in, I think, Frog Pond, Mike Jennings.
That wouldn't be a conflict here then.
Okay, he's my nephew-in-law.
Okay.
And it's a follow-up to that, but are you related to any member of the Board of Education or the administration team?
No. I did meet Christy Palladino. My kid, our kids went to Rainbow Express together.
Okay.
Okay. And do you have any objectives as a board member on the Bass River level, as a representative of Bass River?
As a representative for Bass River? Is that what
As Bass River's representative on the Board of Education, do you have any objectives as a board member specific to Bass River?
Specific to Bass River, again, my daughter graduated in 2019. I believe the school closed in 2020. So she was out a year before. Just from different conversations that I've had, I believe that the transition went really well. There might have been a few bumps in the road. I would hope that those issues were addressed, if indeed there were any. I would just like to see it continue to, you know, for those kids, regardless of the distance between the buildings and their homes in Bass River, that they can absolutely continue to be treated as everyone else, and the lines of communication especially, I think, have to really be kept open in situations like that.
And we're going to continue to do information nights for the Bass River families of elementary students. We'll have one in August for the kids that are coming in for the first time in Little Lake Harbor, and that's an
We had like a mid-year data night set for the parents too, so that was nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I can tell you from experience, just coming from Bass River to the junior high school, I was a nervous wreck. And the very first parent-teacher night, or I believe it was in August, I didn't even know them yet. And just by looking at them, I recognized Miss Sanford I had never met before, and Miss Leak, just from what their teacher website said prior to the school year starting. I mean, Mrs. Sanford had the statement to the kids. We read it actually a few days after my daughter graduated from Bass River, because she wanted to look at the teacher websites. And Mrs. Sanford had said, I can't wait to meet all of you. I love you before I even met you. And that stuck with me. I mean, it just really, really good. So I would hope that all of that continues.
Yep.
Any additional comments from the board? All right, thank you very much,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Barber.
Thank you
We'll
very
be in
much.
contact with you
Thank
after the
you.
meeting.
All right, moving on to the board candidate interview for Little Lake Harbor. First, turn up is Mrs., I believe that's what,
Right, is it their position?
Shemishin? Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
So I'll just get my questions ready here. Hang on. Okay, good evening, Ms. Shimishin. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure.
Can you start off by telling us a little bit about your background and what makes you a good fit for the Pinelands Regional Board of Education?
I used to work with children. I moved to Little Lake Harbor about 22 years ago. I started off substituting for special needs. Then from there, I went to become a para for preschool. And it's quite enjoyable. And I still work with a lot of different children, bringing them home from sports, coming over my home to hang out and talk. A lot of parents reach out to me and I try to direct them to where they need to go for information to resolve their issues and their concerns. And they thank me because some people get nervous and who do I reach out to? Are they gonna say no? You know, and it's no, just what's the most someone can say?
Okay, thank you. What are your goals as a member of the Board of Education?
My goals are to be at every meeting that is required and not required as well, to take courses, to stay on the board, like to keep us updated on everything, to take the courses that are required and ones that are not required, to keep in touch with our governor, which I do now, to see what's going on as far as, you know, education-wise and what goes on in our state, to see where we are at federal levels, if there's any grants available for anything to go through, we can apply for them.
Okay, thank you. Are you able to make the time commitment that's necessary to serve on the Board of Education?
Yes, I am.
And do you have any conflicts of interest that could impact your role as a board member? And more specifically, are you related to any member of the Board of Education or our administration team?
No, I'm not related to anyone, and I don't have any conflicts. You need to keep an open mind all the time with everything, regardless of what the situation is. And you have to keep also in mind that everyone likes different things, everyone behaves differently, so you try to make everyone as comfortable as possible and make them feel that they're not inadequate, that they fit, that it works, it will work for them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any objectives as a board member specific to the Little Egg Harbor community?
No, I do not.
Okay. Anything else for the board?
I would love to join all of you and hopefully make a keep going forward with everything you guys are doing. I've been observing and I really like what I see. It's wonderful that everyone's getting along and that you can just, you know, here we go, this is next, this is next, this is next. That there's not conflicts going on.
Okay, thank you. Anybody from the board? Thank you very much.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mitchell. We'll be in contact with you soon.
Okay, so.
I did tell, I'm looking for that notification now. I told him 7 o'clock. For the last- yeah.
7 o'clock?
That's when I asked Jeff to be here for the interview, when I emailed.
Okay.
So,
We expecting it to be in person then, or on video?
we were expecting in person, but I asked the last candidate, I was trying to space everybody, so I
I was
said,
6:55, so.
between 7 and 7:45.
Take a
That's a long,
recess?
that's a long
Should we take
time.
a 5-minute
Yeah.
recess?
So we'll take a brief recess then.
Yeah.
Just wait and see.
Are we?
Yes.
Next interview is Mr. Bonnigy.
Ms. Casey Gifford from Cooper Levinson. All right, is everybody ready to get started? Okay. Mr. Bonnigy, thanks for joining us this evening.
Hi, hello, thank you.
We're going to start off with, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what makes you a good fit for the Pinelands Board of Education?
Oh, wow. You want family history? I'm married, lived in Little Egg Harbor since 1976. Opened the school in 1979. I'm not sure if there's any more instructors that are here who lasted that long. Graduated in 1985, was a business operator in town for many, many years. Some of you do know that I was on the board for 15 years. So, I'm going to go back to 2003-04 when I first ran for the board at that time. So I'm going to put myself in that mindset. Again, as an older man, I'm going to hopefully remember some of the details. But when asked why I wanted to run for the board, I graduated from the school. You can all say you bleed green and gold, but when you live in the district since 1976, you see it built. One of my legacies to this property is our golf team. It's gonna sound like I'm patting my back, but myself, Fred Stebor, who also graduated in 1985, that's our legacy to this school. We came in front of the Board of Education as juniors under new business to present the idea of a golf team that is probably the winningest team of any sports team over those many years, which I'm pretty proud of. So, but that's not the only reason to see that through. I wanted to ensure that kids' education, I can give you the standard answers, taxpayers, kids' education, improving the quality for staff. I mean, all 3 points we should, prior to, even during, should be cognizant of. At the time, I don't believe that was back in 2003 and 4 when I came out, ran for the board. And, being a business leader, operator, fiscal management skills, writing budgets, a general good guy with a little humor. I felt I could bring such a perspective. I mean, it was new for me. It was nerve-wracking too in that first couple of years trying to feel your way around. But once you got landed and you figured out how to write policy, implement policy, let the administrators run the school. During my time, we were very successful for a long, long time.
Thank you. And what are your
But
goals? I'm sorry.
so let me just add to that. Well, I'm sure this will come up at some point, but I just find that it's the right time to come back and enjoy that endeavor.
Thank you. And what are your goals as a member of the Board of Education?
No secret, I was on the board for 15 years and resigned in the last year of my term. The question will be asked, why did I leave? At the time, I just wasn't being effective. So instead of fight being effective, I decided to just not do it anymore. I quit. One of the toughest things I ever did. I don't quit. But I felt it was right at the time to do that. Going forward, the complexity of the board has changed. And that's pretty much, my main goal, where I think myself and all of us can be successful in approaching our district goals, any challenges that we have, providing, again, education for our kids, taking care of our taxpayers, and making sure the quality of work for our staff is all always advancing.
Thank you. And are you able to make the time commitment that's necessary to serve on the Board of Education?
Always have.
Do you have any conflicts of interest that could impact your role as a board member? And additionally, are you related to any member of the Board of Education or the administration team?
No. And I have no other conflicts, but I'm not related to anyone, nor am I employed or employ anyone.
Do you have any objectives as a board member that are specific to the Little Lake Harbor community?
No, that would be like a personal agenda, and I do not have one. Without me sounding as crass as I just did. But an objective, again, board members create policy, follow policy. We do not run the school. We handle situations, issues, items as they come up. We try to spearhead anything that does come up, and then we also, again, we should always be enhancing and advancing our district. And that is something that 9 different faces, perspectives from our sending districts should be able to do in a very conducive manner.
Okay, thank you. Anything from the members of the board? Any other additional comments, Mr. Bonnick?
No, no comments on my end, other than I just, like I said, the complexity of the board changed, and I feel that I felt the time that I could come back if elected into that vacated seat, and then see what happens in the November election, and perform at a high level of civic effort, and help our district continue to move forward. Again, I'm not moving out of town. I've lived here. Like I said, this building, the buildings, the grounds will be here way after we're dust. And I've always said we should be pioneers and put the right things in place for those that come behind us to kind of follow that footstep. That's positive, advancing, and enhancing. I've always said it.
Okay, thank you very much. For the members of the public, we're going to adjourn into a second executive session. When we resume from that executive session, we'll vote on the open board seats. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Bonnick.
Thank you.
Thank you. Action will be taken.
You don't have to stay. We'll be in contact with everybody after the meeting. executive session. We'll just do a quick roll call. Mrs. McVeigh?
Here.
Mr. Dalio?
Here.
Mr. Rossetti?
Here.
Ms. Pakwakua?
Yes,
Ms. Hannadel?
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett?
Here.
Okay. Mr. Dalio, the
Thank
floor is
you.
yours.
First to start, all four candidates, the board considered all four candidates as stellar candidates. None of them were wrong in our eyes. It was a tough decision, but we had to make a decision for each district, or for each sending district. So may I have a motion to approve the following: Patty Martin to fill the vacant board member seat for Bass River Township until the next organizational meeting of Pinelands Regional Board of Education. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
An affirmative vote here supports Patty Martin for the Bass River seat. Mrs. McVeigh?
Yes.
Mr. Dalio?
Yes.
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Ms. Pakwakua?
Yes.
Ms. Hannadel?
Yes.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes.
That motion carries.
Moving on to Little Lake Harbor. Motion to approve Mr. Bonnicky to fill the vacant board member seat for Little Lake Harbor Township until the next organizational meeting of Pinelands Regional Board of Education. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Got it? Any
Roll.
questions?
Roll call.
Mr. Bartlett?
Yes.
Ms. Hannadel?
Yes.
Ms. Pakwakua?
Yes.
Mr. Rossetti?
Yes.
Mr. Dalio?
Yes.
Mrs. McVeigh?
Yes.
That motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to residents forum. General topics. Board policy 0167 encourages community participation in every meeting. However, the board requests that the public respect a reasonable time limit when commenting on any topic. Open to the public. Seeing no one, may I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion?
Second.
Thank you very much.
All in favor of
All in
adjourning
favor.
the meeting at 7:34, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? I want to thank everybody for coming tonight and remind you that the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Pinelands Regional Board of Education will be Tuesday, August 17th. Regular session begins at 6 p.m. Thanks and have a great night.
Thank you.